Yes, hello everyone. My name is Anthony Enoch Jr. I'm one of the provider training officers here on the provider training team. And this will be the presentation going over provider registration overview and basic provider information. Yes, so provider overview, what will this training be covering? It'll be covering where the provider can find provider registration materials. What is the provider participation agreement, also known as PPA? Where can the PPA be found? What is the new provider checklist and where can it be found? Where can I, as the provider, find policies and billing information for providers? And also, where can I find rates information? Yes, so provider registration materials. For new providers, any person and or company may participate as an AHCCCS registered provider if the person or company is qualified to render the covered service and complies with all AHCCCS policies and procedures for provider participation. New provider materials can be found on the AHCCCS website, and we also provided that link down below. Yes, so the next slides, or handful of slides, excuse me, will be a continuation covering the same process. So continuing for new providers, all providers of AHCCCS covered services, either fee-for-service or managed care, must first register with AHCCCS Administration, which requires signing the provider agreement that includes federal requirements under 42 CFR Part 431.107. Also must meet AHCCCS requirements for professional licensure, certification, or enrollment, and also complete all applicable enrollment forms. Institutions, companies, or facilities are required to pay an enrollment fee that's been effective since January 1st of 2012. Specific provider types will require an OIG site visit, that would be Office of Inspector General, prior to their enrollment, and are subject to unannounced post-enrollment site visits, required fee and or site visit by provider type. Once registered, providers are encouraged to use the following checklist to assist them in working with AHCCCS. That provider office checklist we also have available for you. There's the link. AHCCCS uses a variety of resources to help providers understand policies, prior authorization, claim submission, and changes to the program. An important notification regarding resources for fee-for-service providers can be found here. That provider welcome letter we also have attached for you. Next, so provider enrollment contact information. In Maricopa County, we have that contact number available for you. And also for out of state, we have that information listed for you as well. So we advise make great use of that. And to continue on for our AHCCCS contact information, right to Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, also known as AHCCCS, attention to provider enrollment unit, and we have the address listed down below. Yeah, so provider enrollment packets, these can be found on the AHCCCS website. That would be at www.azaccess.gov/plansproviders/new providers/packet. Additionally, validation packets, address update packets, and out-of-state/one-time waiver of registration requirement packets can be found on this webpage as well. The type of packet you'll fill out depends on what type of provider you're registering as. There are packets for individuals/companies/facilities, group billers, individual provider types. Certain provider types will need to fill out additional information. Down below, yes, we also have provider types with additional application requirements. Okay, continuing on for new providers. So mail or fax completed and signed enrollment forms. 2, we have the AHCCCS provider enrollment address. And we also have, for via fax, it would be 602-256-1474. And just as a side note for everyone, all applicable licenses and certifications must be submitted with the enrollment forms. If you have questions regarding the type of applicable licenses and or certifications, we advise please contact provider enrollment at the phone numbers listed. So beginning on for the provider participation agreement. So also known as PPA, this is an agreement between AHCCCS and the provider pursuant to Title 19 and Title 21 of the Social Security Act and ARS 36-2901 to govern first the registration and payment for the healthcare services provided by the provider to fee-for-service eligible persons who are not enrolled with the contractor under contract with AHCCCS. AHCCCS, of course, being the contractor, or who receive emergency services only. 2, the registration, for a provider to participate and deliver health care services to eligible persons who are enrolled with a contractor. And 3, the registration of a provider who wishes to participate and qualify under the one-time only waiver option. Next, all providers, both fee-for-service and providers with MCO members, must sign the provider participation agreement. This requires the providers adhere to all AHCCCS guidelines, policies, and manuals, including but not limited to the AHCCCS Medical Policy Manual, which we also call as AMPM, the Fee-for-Service Manual. Note, this refers to the Fee-for-Service Provider Billing Manual and the IHS Tribal Provider Billing Manual, AHCCCS Claims Clues, and reporting guides. And if you notice, we also will have the links attached for you on this slide as well. Moving on to the new provider welcome letter. So this can be found on the AHCCCS website. We have the link attached for you right here. It reads as is. Important information for providers, please read. Note of importance. All AHCCCS registered providers can provide services to fee-for-service members, including those enrolled in American Indian Health Program, also known as AIHP, or Tribal ALTCS. In addition to the provider billing manuals found on the AHCCCS website, AHCCCS also provides the Claims Clues, which is our newsletter, and the DFSM email notification list, email notifications previously called Constant Contact. To assist providers in locating important information, we strongly encourage you and your employees to dedicate time to sign up for and review these resources. These publications are incorporated by reference into the provider participation agreement. It is the provider's responsibility to remain apprised of information contained within these publications. A complete list of policies and procedures can be found at, we have the links listed for you below. For instance, the first one would be the Plans Providers, Guides, Manuals, Policies. Next, we have the Fee-for-Service Billing Manual, the IHS Tribal Provider Billing Manual, and lastly, the AHCCCS Fee-for-Service Health Plans. Policies and Billing Manuals. So where can the policies and billing manuals be found? So we have the AHCCCS Medical Policy Manual, of course, also known as AMPM. We have that link listed for you. AHCCCS Contractors Operations Manual, also known as ACOM. We also have that link. And again, we have the Fee-for-Service Health Plans webpage that can be found at the link listed at the bottom. So starting off with our Fee-for-Service Provider Billing Manual. This provider billing manual is intended to outline billing requirements for providers who are billing the AHCCCS Division of Fee-for-Service Management, also known as DFSM, unit for reimbursement. It includes chapters on the following: member eligibility, provider records and registration, general billing rules, instructions for billing on the UBO4, ADA 1200, and the CMS 1500 claim forms, prior authorization, and also billing when a member has Medicare or other insurance liability at play. Yes, so its chapters on the following. It also contains individual practitioner services detailing important information pertaining to individual provider types, hospital inpatient billing, billing for pharmacy, transportation, DME, freestanding birthing centers, FESP members, home health care, nursing facilities, hospice services, transplants, and behavioral health services. Also listed, we have ALTCS, Arizona Long-Term Care, claims processing, and correcting claim errors. And lastly, understanding the remittance advice. And next we have the IHS Tribal Provider Billing Manual. This contains similar information on the fee-for-service provider billing manual. However, it is customized to assist IHS 638 providers with billing for all inclusive rates, the AIR. It additionally contains a chapter specifically for the 638 FQHC, provider type C5. Rates and fee schedules. So the fee-for-service fee schedules are available on the AHCCCS website and can be found at this link. AHCCCS capitation information is available on the AHCCCS website as well and can be found at this link right there at the bottom. And next we have coding information. So fee-for-service fee schedules by procedure code. A procedure code lookup tool is available on the AHCCCS website and can be found at this link attached. Also, just a side note, this tool is meant to assist providers in looking up rates by procedure codes. And we will continue off of that. So medical coding resources webpage. AHCCCS has a medical coding resources webpage on the AHCCCS site. The medical coding unit is responsible for the update and maintenance of all medical coding related to AHCCCS claims and encounters processing. This includes place of service, modifiers, new procedure codes, new diagnosis, and coding rules. This unit is also responsible for reviewing and responding to any medical coding related guidelines and/or questions. This includes questions related to daily limits, procedure coverage, so on and so forth. They can be reached at coding policy questions at AZAccess.gov. And if we may also advise, the coding team cannot instruct providers on how to code and/or bill for a particular service. Those questions should be directed to the provider's professional coding and/or biller. Provider training. So fee-for-service has a provider training unit. The AHCCCS provider training unit can assist providers in the following: how to fill out claim forms, how to submit claims and prior authorization requests through the AHCCCS online provider portal, how to status a claim or prior authorization request through the AHCCCS online provider portal, how to use the transaction insight portal for submission of accompanying documentation, provide clarification on AHCCCS policies and system updates, changes to the program, and lastly, other details. Yeah, so please note that the fee-for-service provider training team does not instruct providers on how to code and/or bill for any particular type of service. For additional information on rates, coding, or the submission of claims to the ACC health plan, please follow the below guidelines. For rates, any questions regarding to rates on the AHCCCS fee-for-service, we advise that you go ahead and send them a direct message at fee-for-service, that's F as in Frank, S as in Frank, S as in Sam, rates at AZAccess.gov. We have that email attached for you. For coding, any questions pertaining to that, we do have the email also provided, coding policy questions at AZAccess.gov. And for another side note, just to continue on, the coding team cannot, they also cannot instruct providers on how to code or bill for any particular type of service. Again, we do advise that you go ahead and speak with your coder or biller. ACC plan claims, questions regarding the submission of claims to Access Complete Care, also known as ACC, should be directed to the appropriate ACC health plan. Yes, and everyone, that would conclude this presentation for the basic overview. We do hope that this material was helpful. Any questions or inquiries you would have on this training material or any other training material, we advise that you go ahead and send a message to our provider training team. That would be at provider training, FFS@AZAccess.gov, and we'll go ahead and assist you from there. We do hope everyone has a great day.